time for this week's reality check on college football. If you're a wussy or faint of heart, you're going to need your big boy panties or medications to participate in this show. Now broadcasting live from sunny Sims, Alabama, it is your host and Miami Hurricanes #1 fan. Give it up for Big John Andrews.
Everybody. Hey, welcome to my last week, my last show, John's College Football Weekly. Wow, year went by quick. Of course, we didn't get started in this one like 3 or 4, 5 weeks ago. Anyway, let's get right going. I want to do my version of the playoffs. It's going to take a few minutes, so I want to get this going quick. Every game yesterday was important.
Yeah, I guess.
Conference championships, most of them. Some of them wasn't. So let's get started with the ones that wasn't important. Let's go over them real quick. Baylor. Texas win 23-17.
Terrible game.
Big fight. Blah, blah, blah.
Sloppy.
Baylor's sixth string quarterback. Somebody got hurt. I don't know. Anyway, Texas win. Nobody cares unless you live in Texas. We don't care because we don't live in Texas. Speaking of not caring because you don't live in Texas, Houston beats Temple 24-13. All right, now, let's get down to what we want to talk about. Alabama, Florida, SEC championship game. Boom, 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 boom. Everybody
surprised at this game.
You were surprised because you thought it was going to be a close game.
I did.
You thought it was going to be a close game.
I told Jonathan, I was like, everybody brings a game.
A game for Alabama.
A game to play Alabama.
Can't bring A game when you're on a stretcher.
Close game.
Yeah, can't bring A game when you're on a stretcher. Alabama wins 29-15. Derrick Henry ends up about 180-something yards. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, Alabama's defense looks solid. Slipped up there. I think they'll let Florida have a punt or kickoff, ran back or something. Well, anyway, and Florida was never in it. First quarter they were in it, maybe.
Yeah.
I think about halfway through the second quarter they were starting to wonder if they were still in it. And I think by about a minute and a half into the third quarter, they knew they wasn't in it.
Right.
So Alabama wins 29-15. Alabama.
Henry did a good job.
Henry looked good. Surpassed Herschel Walker yesterday for the most rushing yards in SEC history.
Wow.
Kid looks good. Going to the NFL. To the NFL. I said it. He's going to the NFL. He'll be in the NFL next year. All right. Michigan State, Iowa. A lot of people were saying Iowa didn't belong in this game. Their schedule wasn't hard enough. If you watched this game and you still thought Iowa didn't belong there, you're an idiot. Straight up, you don't know nothing about football. Best game yesterday, good game. Michigan State wins this game with about a 5.5 minute, 23 play drive at the end.
I was pulling for Iowa to win.
Yeah, you kind of was pulling for Iowa. Yeah. Anyway, Michigan State, that drive was monumental. Man. I mean, it was a good smash mouth drive. Couple pass plays, but mostly just good hard running, just knocking the brakes off each other. Neither one of these teams, Iowa should keep their head up, man. I mean, they played a hard game. Good game. Michigan State wins 16-13. Low scoring, hard hitting, hard playing game. Good game. So big old cornbread boys up there in Midwest. All right. Big game everybody's talking about this morning, North Carolina Clemson. Carolina Clemson. And the reason everybody's talking about this game is the reason that probably the ACC don't want nobody talking about this game. Final score ended up being Clemson 45, North Carolina 27. 37. Let me explain to you how this got all the controversy got going this morning. Clemson spotted North Carolina about 2.5 touchdowns. Clemson was ahead. I don't know. I think at one time 36-10, 36-14. Yeah, it was. They were ahead.
When I looked, that was
North Carolina made a run. North Carolina makes a run, gets within a touchdown at the end of the game with about 1 minute and 10 seconds left, kicks an onside kick, and gets it, recovers it. Flag on the field. Offsides, North Carolina, flag on the field. Except there's only one problem. We got this little thing out there called television that has cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
And guess what? Couldn't none of them find nobody offside.
They can go back and review.
They went back. No, they didn't go back. You can't go back and pick up a flag. I've only seen that done one time, and that was an SEC game, and everybody threw up afterwards. So I mean, but Clemson, I mean, just nobody was offside for North Carolina. North Carolina tried another onside kick, almost got that one, by the way. Clemson ended up getting it. Listen, let me explain to you what happened here. Okay. There were some people saying yesterday, oh, well, if North Carolina beats Clemson, they should jump into the top 4.
No.
No, they wasn't. No, they wasn't. They wasn't going to jump into the top 4. They wasn't going to jump Ohio State and Stanford into the top 4 in the playoffs just because they beat Clemson. It wasn't going to happen. So if Clemson would have lost that game, all that would have happened was ACC wouldn't have been in the playoffs no more.
So they couldn't let that happen.
That wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. And nobody was going to let that happen. That's just like that. That's just like the Alabama-Florida game. Florida had no chance of being in the playoffs. Alabama was the only one there with a chance. Right. And if that game would have been close at the end, Florida players would have been getting bunked in the head with flags. There'd have been flags getting dropped out of the top row. It would have been flags everywhere on them. There's no way Florida was ever going to win that game. Luckily, they're nowhere near as good as Alabama, so we ain't got to have that discussion. But what you had here was two teams that got close, because I had North Carolina picked to win the game. I had North Carolina picked to win that game against Clemson. And, there's no way they were going to let North Carolina win it. It wasn't going to happen. They're not going to let. They're only hoping to the playoffs get beat. It wasn't going to happen. So, a lot of controversy this morning with that one. So, top 4, going to probably say the same. Clemson, Alabama may flip-flop 3 and 4 with Michigan State and Oklahoma. Oklahoma didn't play.
Well, Alabama don't want to play Oklahoma.
No, Alabama don't want to play. There's some Alabama fans going in there today. I'm pretty sure they're jacked up. Going, hey, man, we'll knock them Sooners out, son. No, you won't either. No, you need to. If you ain't watched Oklahoma play here at the end of the year, them boys is kicking off all 8 cylinders. They lost that game to Texas, and something went click in their head, and they are bringing the rain right now. So, gonna be some good football if it ever happens, because it's 3 weeks away before they ever play the first game. So, speaking of that, I've been threatening for the last couple of weeks to talk about my version. John's version of the college football playoffs, what it should be. I feel like the guy on the Dr. Pepper commercial. Nice go, Dr. Pepper. Here. I feel like that guy. Hey, I created the playoff time. No, listen. There's a couple problems that exist right now that make it not fair, and this would fix it. And so when I get through explaining it to you, you'll understand. Okay. Currently, right now, there are 11 conferences and 4 independents in the nation in D1. Okay, right. Let the 4 independents, Notre Dame, BYU, Army, Navy. Okay, let the 4 independents form their own conference. Independents conference, whatever they can call it, whatever. I don't care what they want to call it.
Because they're fixing to change that.
Right, they're fixing to change it to where no matter how many teams you got, you can play a conference championship. All right, take a game off the year or start a year week. Take a game off the year and start a week early, so that the conference championships are played Thanksgiving weekend. You're going to have 12 conference championships played Thanksgiving weekend. Okay, from those 12 conference championship games, you're going to have 12 conference champions for each conference represented.
Right.
Okay, you pull those 12 conference championship winners out of the top 25 if they're there, okay. and you list them over here. This is where the committee comes into play. The committee picks 4 more teams that are left that either didn't win their conference championship or didn't even play in it, depending on how it worked. They pick 4 teams to join those 12 teams. That way, we still got a lot of controversy. We still got a lot of, hey, well, that team belongs there, and they still got all that crap going on. Gives the talking heads like me something to talk about. Right. Okay, so take those 4 teams, put them in with the 12. Okay, it's going to leave you 16 teams. First week of December, you start round 1. You rank these teams 1 through 16. The committee does. You rank them 1 through 16 based on strength of schedule. Based on strength of schedule. That way, if you got these weaker conferences out there, and you do, MAC, Mountain West, blah, 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 they're not up here with Alabama and them. You rank the top 16 based on their strength of schedule.
That's where the committee
right, because in week 1 through 8 are going to have home games. The first week of the playoffs are going to be home games for them. 9 through 16 are going to have to travel to play. 1 plays 16, 2 plays 15, etc., etc. That way, if you play a hard schedule, you're rewarded by having the first week of the playoffs played at your house, in your home, at your home field. You get a home field, first week of playoffs, you're host.
That would be fair.
That would be fair. That's nothing but fair. You get the host first round if you got a hard enough schedule. Okay? Right. You rank them 1 through, and also your strength of schedule decides where you're ranked at on this 1 through 16.
Right.
That way, if you're ranked number 1 or 2, you're going to play number 15 or 16, and you're going to play them at home. Well, good for you. You had a hard schedule. You deserve that.
Okay, so that comes down to 8 teams.
8 teams, second week.
Second week.
Neutral sites, 8 games, 8 games second week. Neutral site plays. Okay.
Right.
From that, you're going to have 4 games. All right.
That would be the week of.
You hold over. You don't play Christmas weekend. Then you start back up New Year's weekend. You play those 4 games. That's your 4 major bowls. That's your Sugar Bowl, your Fiesta Bowl, your Cotton Bowl, your Orange Bowl. There's your 4 games right there. Your 4 bowls. The other bowls want to bid for them later on. They can. There's your 4 bowl games right there. And from that comes 2 teams
That plays New Year's.
that plays the second week after the second week of January, just like they're doing now, for the national championship. For the national championship, it would work hands down. Every team in the nation, every conference in the nation would be represented at the start of it. Every team has a shot. Every coach can look at their players August 1st when they report practice, say, fellas, we got a shot at the national championship.
South Alabama.
South Alabama will have a shot at it. In reality, we know they don't. They're gonna get their brains beat out.
But
they have a legitimate shot at it. They have a legitimate chance to get into the national championship. This is the way you do it. This is how you do it. This brings everything into play. It brings the conferences into play. It brings the committee into play. It brings the rankings into play. It brings strength of schedule into play. It brings everything into play. And everybody's there. You bring everybody. You don't have these 2 or 3 elite conferences like you do now. Everybody. And you're probably still going to end up with the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, whatever. It's probably still going to end up being between them. But you know what? Everybody gets a shot at it.
Right. They get that chance. Because right now,
they don't
get that chance.
No. If you think somebody from the Mountain West has got a chance to get in the Big 4 right now, you're delusional. You're delusional because they don't. I don't give a damn who they play. I don't care what they do. They don't have a chance. This way, everybody has a chance.
Right.
Everybody has a chance. I would love to see this. It would re-energize me with college football because like I said last week,
Something needs to be done.
right, like I told you last week, after this week, I could care less. Because if you think you can take if you've ever strapped on a helmet, if you've ever played football, or you talk to somebody who's ever played football, and they'll tell you there is no way you're going to take 2 or 3 weeks off and come back the same team.
Right.
It's going to help some teams, and it's going to hurt some teams. But you're not playing the same team you were playing at the end of the year. There's no way. A 2 or 3 week break totally changes everything.
Well, your body's just...
Right, yeah. It's too physical of a game. It totally changes everything. And it's a joke. They do it for money purposes. They only do it for money. They're not doing it for the welfare. And for everybody that says, oh, well, what about the testing? What about the finals? The D3 figures it out. D3 gets around finals. D2 gets around finals. College basketball gets around finals. I'm sure D1 students can figure it out too. I'm just thinking off the top of my head that they can figure it out too. So, it can be done. It can be done. They just don't want to do it. Anyway, that's my version. Sit down, draw it out. You'll see. It'll work all day long. You can do it. All right, listen. My last one of the year. This is my last video. I may come back after the playoffs and do another one. I don't know. Next year, hoping to have some guests. I want to have some this year. I think I got started a little too late.
Well, first time.
So we'll see. I want to thank everybody for watching and comments and everything. Man, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. I hope y'all have enjoyed it. Just really YouTube. Remember, don't forget I got a YouTube channel, John's College Football Weekly. Email Nick Saban is the Antichrist @yahoo.com. Subscribe to it if you get a chance. Not, I post it on Facebook, but try to subscribe. I need to get some subscriptions going with the YouTube channel if I can. Got big plans for next year. I think it's going to be fun. Couple strippers, things like that maybe.
No, not up in the house.
Can't have no strippers in the house. So we're going to be broadcasting from the cab of my truck next year. Nah.
What about you and the new coat?
Oh, got a smart Rick. You see that? I didn't know if you was got Mark Rick. Yeah, Mark Rick coming to Miami.
What about all that?
He couldn't win. He couldn't win at Georgia with more talent you could kill. What did they think he's going to do at Miami? I mean, he may. If he turns it around, it's going to take him a couple years. I've said it once and I've said it 1,000 times. Miami's problem is not athletes and coaches issues. Miami's problem is money problems.
Yeah.
And they got to fix their money problems. Speaking of, your boy, Muschamp,
I know.
Announced this morning he's new South Carolina coach.
What?
What? No more Muschamp. They said him and Gus the Bus couldn't get along. So Muschamp's out of here. Muschamp's gone. Listen, people, here's the thing. I don't care who your team is. I don't care who you're pulling for. I don't care who you like. I don't care if it's whoever. Wear your colors. Wear them with pride. Wear them loud. For me and mine, we're all about the U, people.